Well, there's not much going on in Morgantown other than Star City. A new donut shop is opening up. And did you see that, Eric? A new donut, Seb's, I guess it's called.
No, but I'll probably be there soon enough.
Me too. I go nuts for donuts. So, West Virginia Live, presented by FanDuel. Here on the Voice of College Football, I have Eric and myself, Shane. We're here every Monday and Wednesday. You can't beat us with a stick. Well, going back memory lane, I was thinking about the Fiesta Bowl, and something came into my feed, and it was one of the AI things about Pat Mack coming to West Virginia in 2004, then 2005 Fiesta Bowl, et cetera, in his career. It was all generated by AI. It was wonderful. That made me think, if West Virginia is going to go with some sort of retro theme this year, like every year they do some sort of nostalgic uniform. They did it with the baseball this week. They did it with what was it, the '60s theme with the gold helmets and the powder blue. What would be your thought? What era would you pick for West Virginia? Like couple years where you would just say that would be the uniform that would bring back nostalgia and maybe some momentum for the Mountaineers
For this coming season,
for this coming season.
it might be a little premature, but I loved the speed uniforms from the 2005 season. Uh, Kind of had
Yeah.
the thick stripes that would kind of taper down.
Yep.
Same with the pants. It's a
Hmm.
good look, man. Look sharp, look fast.
I agree with that little triangle thing going down, and everybody's still rocking it. Everybody's still rocking it at the games. But we have a lot to talk about. We can't talk about donuts. We can't talk about retro uniforms because it is the off season. The transfer portal is closed, but there are rumors that there might be a few more people coming on board. But last I checked, there was 95 folks on the roster,
Mm.
and I have the roster up. I'm gonna see if I can share it. This is courtesy of the Mountaineer Athletics. Okay, so we're not getting too fancy here. Before we get a lot of people in the chat, I wanted to go through this. I'm looking on here, so you can select 2026 is all you can select. I'm looking through here, and you know who I don't see? I see Wyatt Brown. Sir Paul Cheeks is here, but I do not see Nico.
No.
No. So with that, there's been no rumors on the Nico watch. I know we're not huge like Nico marks that we're just like, oh, we got to have Nico. But I hate to see folks, good, athletic, charismatic football players with good moral character, sit and not play ball when they have a couple years of eligibility. So I don't know, guys. Maybe
Well,
I'm
let me ask you
crazy.
a question, buddy. We got a lot of great quarterbacks in the room. I think you'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Who's your experienced backup that if you go down
Mm.
one or two of your more, how should I say, profitable quarterbacks, those got a bigger upside. Who do you turn to go in a rough situation and just manage the game? I think Nico would be a great fit there. I wouldn't take him back just because he's done great in the past. I'd take him back because he's got some things to offer in the future.
Yeah, you could not count on a Wyatt Brown as a
It's a
third.
tough spot to put a kid in, to put a new player in.
Right.
I don't know, just food for thought.
Absolutely. I mean, he came back in after he was yanked in the pit game. So he could have just pouted and say, "Oh, you yanked me. We're going to lose, and that's it." And I know guys like that. Well, you pulled me, so I guess we're going to lose, and that's just the way it's going to go. But he wasn't that guy. He's like, okay, I'll support whoever's in there, and if I get back in there, I'm just going to do better. That is admirable, and that is a character trait that it's rare in today's day and age. I watch this show called Extracted, and they get people on, and it's like a Survivor thing. They put them on, and half of the folks shouldn't even be there. And there's always some punk kid that taps out within 24 hours. Can't even spend the night out in the woods for 24 hours. I'm not saying that's indicative of today's generation. I'm just saying, if you know you have a guy with some heart that can inspire the guys like, he's in your locker room, he knows the system, do your best to keep him. And I don't know. Maybe I'm on a soapbox there. Tonight, Eric, we're going to go through some of the roster, and other shows have said who you think's going to start. Eric and I are going to do it. We're going to go through a few of these guys because we have Cam Cook, and there's about 3 players that this season's riding on, and we're going to identify what 3 players those the season will be. I think there's 3 key players. If they have a good year, West Virginia's going to go to a bowl game. If they shit the bed, we're all going to be singing the blues come November, December. So, Eric, you want to hit that first, or do you want to go to maybe talk about some just we talked about this before the show, just for a second this afternoon. West Virginia seems to have guys that have talent but not a lot of experience, and guys that have experience, but there's no like middle of the road. You have youth, you have experience, but there's no, I don't know. There's no guys in there that are just solid production guys, other than Cook, that are just going to churn and burn and get yards. Am I wrong?
Buddy, now I think you're making an excellent point, and it's probably a great segue for the later segment of talking about the players. But yeah, I think I think we had said plenty of times, people are probably tired of hearing it. Last year was year 0, and the true build of this team began then, but that wasn't the true build. The true build began this season. So you have a lot of tremendous talent of high school players coming in. Our recruiting class for high school players was the best we've probably ever had.
Right.
And this year during the transfer portal, we got a lot of talent too. But what that tells me is that talent, that talented pool of freshmen, you're going to see some of them play, but largely you're going to rely on transfer portal players to make this season work, to carry the majority of the load. It's just the way it is. I don't know how else you kind of do it in a short turnaround time.
So, like we mentioned, as of Sunday, which was just yesterday, there was 95 guys on the roster. Okay. There's still 20, 25 that have committed and signed with the Mountaineers that aren't listed on the roster. I was just checking. Now, we have at quarterback 5 guys. That's not counting Nico. Running back, we have 4. Wide receiver, we have 13. Tight end, what do we have here? 6. Fullback, 1. Offensive line, 20. Now, defense, there was 41 guys on the roster. We got 1 bandit. And that's a position I'd like to see them maybe get someone else in there that's maybe athletic that can play that position. D-end, I just saw 1. Defensive line, I think 13 or 14. Linebacker, 8. So that's where we're sitting. Cornerback, 9. D-back, there's 2. And then you have 2 safeties, a couple athletes. And one of the athletes is probably a safety. I don't know where to put him. That's Matt Sig. And then 2 kickers and a punter, a partridge in a pear tree. Wait, Christmas was last month. Now, and a couple long snappers. Now, the guys that aren't on the roster, and I pulled this from, where did I pull this from? Let me look, see where I pulled this from, guys. Oh yeah, Skylar Callahan had these 20 names that aren't on the roster, and also I have it up on the screen there, the roster. They don't have. I'm going to read here, guys. Bear with me. Quarterback Wyatt Brown, Lawrence Autry, Martavius Boswell, which I'm excited to see, Sir Paul Cheeks, Landon Drum, tight end Xavier Anderson, Jonas Muya, defensive line Toby Hastrup, edge rusher Ezekiel Durham Campbell, another edge guy Noah Tisendorf, a linebacker, and his name is Jason Hall, linebackers Trey McAuliffe, and then you have Simjan Hill, cornerback, and another cornerback, Vincent Smith, safety Jacob Bradford, safety Jaden Baylord, safety Ricky Giles, safety Cameron Reddick, an athlete Brad Mosser, which I don't know what he'll play. He played multiple positions in college or high school, and kicker Peter Notaro. Those guys aren't on the Magic roster. I don't know why. We had about a dozen guys already arrive on campus and start classes, and they are raving about one, and that is Eric. You know,
Kevin Brown.
Now, you read that article. What did you think about that?
I'm not surprised. I think he came with a lot of accolades, and they weren't so much he's just a natural gamer. It talked about a lot of his discipline, and I think it's starting to show already.
Yeah, that lunch pail, let's get to work. The season starts in January. You don't see that. I see a couple kids here in my local area at the gym, and they're like, the season starts January 1st. Gave my body a month of rest, had the holidays. It's time to get after it. That seems to be like a lost mindset. But let's go to the chat real quick, because I got to say hello to some folks that are regulars. Kenny Evans, are they going after another running back? Right now, I don't know of any that they're going after as far as D1, but they could still maybe get some guy out of the. I don't know how it works. Like, for crying out loud, I didn't want to get into this, Kenny, but I'm going to get into it. I sent that to you, Eric, a couple days ago, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but Clemson got a linebacker from Cal. The kid showed up on campus, was taking classes, told the coach, the head coach of Clemson, hey, they offered me $1 million. Now he's getting $800,000 to play for Clemson. Coach is like, well, what the F is going on? About 2 days later, this young linebacker ghosted everybody, dropped off the face of the earth. What had happened is Cal came back with $2 million, and the kid said, hey, I'm trying to do the right thing, but that's literally 60% more. That's double what I was getting. You took an 8 and you added 1.2 to it. And I don't do much math, but that math adds up to a lot of freaking money. And that kid is like, best wishes and Clemson Tiger kisses. I'm going to go play for Ole Miss. And that's exactly what that kid did. He doesn't care what's going on. He left his Clemson gear, his all his shit there, and he's wearing that powder blue and red. And that Debo is, Dabo Sweeney. I said Debo. I'm thinking about James Harrison. Dabo Sweeney is singing the blues, bitching and moaning. He has every reason. And Dabo Sweeney was one of the last guys to the Thanksgiving table of NIL. He was sitting at the kiddie table like, I'm not playing. I can recruit from high school. That ship has sailed. That's like literally being that guy that was married 35 years and then all of a sudden decides he's going to get a Corvette and trade in his flip phone and start texting the ladies on his new BlackBerry. Things are different. And Shane does not, I can't wrap my head around exactly where, like, Rich Rod and company are trying to plug those holes. They know they need linebackers. They could use another running back. Do we know exactly what they're doing? No, but they're going to pull some guy from maybe a Division II school. Maybe they're going to get some guy that's like Nico that's sitting in a transfer portal that no one's kind of sniffing around at. Is it going to be as big of a splash guy as Cook is? No. But could he have production? Yes. But that's a great question. I love it.
I'll throw something out.
Yeah, go ahead. Hit it up.
This is strictly rumor, but there is word that we have a player visiting over the weekend.
Yep.
From a Big 12 school, and that's all the more I know.
Yep.
There's some speculation of a running back.
Yep.
We really don't know.
I don't know where the running back's from, and I know he's staying at over at Suncrest Plaza. There's 3 guys staying there, but what I'm going to say on the show, like, these guys are like, literally, I've scratched my head. Like last year, I was literally in Morgantown for that week when they were bringing their guys in, and I could report on that, but I'm not there now. But yeah, I heard the same thing, Eric, and I'm wondering who the hell these guys are. It's very interesting. The window is closed, but how are they hosting people? Were they in the playoffs? I don't know. How does this work?
And well, and I'm going to throw something. This may be where you pull the plug on me. I don't think there are rules anymore.
No, you're spot on. That's why I went down that damn rabbit hole about this kid that went to Clemson and ended up at Ole Miss, because
it's like the player from Washington.
Yeah,
he was playing out there, and I forget who came calling at his door, but they offered him an extra $1 million after he was getting $5 at Washington.
Yeah,
and the NCAA has to react to these things, if for no other reason than to protect the product, which is college football. And they haven't done that so far, and I don't think they're going to.
There's no honor among thieves, and it's a thieving business, college football, and that's why Nick Saban stepped away. He saw what was coming. He didn't want any part of it. Your old school coaches like Dabo are, he's old guard. He's struggling. The same is true in professional sports. The old heads are having a difficult time winning, and the new young guys are getting after it. It's not like it was back when Joe Paterno was coaching, where you could just keep your black socks and black shoes and do the same thing for 40 years. You literally have to change with the times, and the pace. It's unheard of because there are no bumpers. It's the Wild West. They give suggestions out there. This is the portal window. Well, okay.
Well, something we were talking about in another episode was the notion of like a free agent market, and the notion that if you have somebody, and not to pick on the poor guy, but Nico's out there in limbo. What's to prevent somebody from having him come out for a visit and talking with him? So when we hear that there's a Big 12 player who might be a running back, who knows, could be that all-fire linebacker from Louisiana, Bobby Boucher. But
Mama says
unless a player is already at school, in particular if they are registered for classes, that's supposed to be tampering. Yet here we are seeing at least 2 examples right now of players at the school who I thought were enrolled, and lo and behold, they're taking another contract while they're already in one contract. They're bailing on it because, like you said, you get enough green flash in front of you, you don't know how many years you're going to get to play this game. You may get one more year.
You look at Nico. He was a starter, and you thought, okay, he's going to have a little bit of longevity. He's going to be with this program for a few years. That didn't happen. I mean, think about kids that are asking their mom and dad to buy them a $125 jersey. That guy's only going to be there for maybe half a year, maybe a year. How can you justify that? I mean, there's no feeling behind it. No legacy, for the program. They're hired guns. They're mercenaries. And I know I'm talking shit, and every 3 or 4 episodes I go down this path, but Ty Edwards was a great guy when he lined up and just, was running the ball real strong. We got a couple games out of him, and then we didn't even see him because he got hurt. Diori Hubbard, another guy that I really started to really like, and really like the way he played ball, and we didn't get to see a lot of him. Sincere Bowers, another guy. So with that, how can you ask a family to buy season tickets when you're not even gonna? It's gonna be difficult to remember who's on the roster.
You and I have been talking about it. It is so hard to keep track of the players and all their attributes, their eligibility, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
The sport is being brutalized by money. And that's what I mean by the NCAA needs to protect the product, which is that draw of fandom, because not only does your team put a good team on the field, but there's some level of loyalty, integrity within a rule structure that people can keep up with. That's and the NFL did it, good Lord, back in the 50s. The NCAA needs to step up right now, and they're afraid to. But with that being said, buddy, do you want to read up this Fiona? There she is. So go ahead.
Yeah, she says, I believe the portal's closed to entering. I believe that too. But those in the portal can still sign up until fall camp. I thought there was a certain window where the portal closed to visits. I thought they could sign anybody, but the visits is where I'm kind of getting foggy. Fiona, you're spot on. Thank you.
Yep.
The portal is a marketing tool. It's meaningless. Yes, Earth. Yes. Velcro. Oh, I like this. That is witty. Get a Velcro name patch on the back when you buy a jersey. You just kind of change that Velcro patch out like the old Army uniforms with the Velcro. That was a shit. I'd love to hear Rich Rod on what players they got, who's coming in, an upcoming team. Yeah, he kind of has not said a whole heck of a lot, Eric. Have you heard anything that Rich Rod has said other than just it's been a ghost? We were going to name the show, Are We Getting Ghosted? Because we've heard nothing. Boo beans or shit from this staff. We haven't even got to talk to Rich Trickett too much.
Which out of it, that surprises me a little bit.
Yeah, he likes to talk. So the name of the show tonight, Can He Do It? Do you like that? Is that cute? Can He Do It? That's Cam Cook, guys. So I was excited about West Virginia's running back room until, I was excited. Excited is an understatement. I was beside myself. When they got Amari Latimer, I thought, shit, they got a back that is a third down back. He has to be 230, 6 foot. They're going to get him in here, and he's just going to tear people up. Then they got a little bit of speed with Sir Paul Cheeks. Martavius Boswell is another fast guy. Both those guys are a solid 175, 176. Not very tall, but thick. You add in there Cook, and you have a hell of a backfield. Now, I'm going to ask you, Eric, which one were you most excited to see?
Oh, that's a tough question. I was thrilled to see Amari because he is he is a very highly touted and talented running back. And
Mm-hmm.
when you look at his tape, he looks fantastic. I think I was just a little bit more excited to see Cam
Mm-hmm.
because Cam is a proven product. He's played in Rich's system, and he to make Rich's system work. You have to have some guys that are not only fast but that are quick, and Cam has that. He makes the
Mm-hmm.
read. He makes the quick. I mean, he makes a quick cut,
Mm-hmm.
and he is through that line in a hurry. Now, we've talked about in the past, he gets caught a lot of times from behind. That's okay. We'll take 10-yard gains all night long.
Yep.
So,
Yep. But he gets from second to third really quick. And I'll tell you what, I don't even have much to say because I agree with you 100%. I don't, it doesn't make for an interesting show. But guys, you talk about this, and I've heard it for the past couple weeks before the national championship, up to the national championship, and after. Potential versus production. I think, yeah, in one case, one of your guys is the potential, one is the production. So with that, Amari is your potential. And with Cam Cook, you have production. And boy, did he produce last year. Uh, I'm going to read some of his stats here. I mean, I think he I think he carried the ball 5 times and ran short of 300, right? That's what my notes say.
295 carries on the
Woo!
season.
Now he was a 4-star. I don't really think into this, like Rich who said that? Oh, Nick Saban said the guys that give the stars don't know their ass from their elbows. So, whether it's a 3-star or 5-star, it's just, you know, and Saban also said he had a guy that was 3 stars who's still playing in the NFL, and a guy that was 5 stars only played a year in the NFL. So you never really know. Now the most of the room is 3-star, bunch of 3-star guys. 5-10 years ago, we would have been beside ourselves with a bunch of 3-star guys in the running back room. One of the guys they call Jesus in cleats, and that's Sir Paul Cheeks. Now, Sir Paul Cheeks is a cool enough name, but you're going to also give the name of the Son of God, Jesus in cleats. So he must be fancy if he starts with a cool name, and then we're going to name him Jesus in cleats. That's just going to be his other nickname. I don't know, but I think you're spot on there. Now, if I was going to rate that backfield, I would say those two guys are going to get most of your carries. Maybe Martavius Boswell and Sir Paul Cheeks will get in there occasionally, but I mean, the first 2 games, Eric, do you play multiple guys, or you just try to get some folks some live action, real time carries? What are your thoughts?
I love it, man. Um, to me, if you get Cam Cook in, and I'm going to speak in ones and twos and then threes and fours. So your ones and your twos, Cam Cook, you put him in just enough times to show him it's the same system. You're familiar with it, and if you see him like get a few enough carries that you're like, all right, he gets it. You dose it to Latimer heavy, and then towards the end, all right, you tell the guys there's not many carries left. Threes and fours, whoever, whichever one of those two it is. Um, it's up to you. You're not going to get many chances, so don't waste them. But yeah, to me, you've got to start building for the actual season. I don't think you have enough games to
Mhm.
waste carries.
No, I agree. There's not going to be, and here's the thing. Rich Rod, he gets into sometimes at Arizona's when he had the most 50-50 blend to run pass. I really don't know what the recipe is for West Virginia or what the right answer is, but I would love to see these guys carry the ball. Now, Eric, we both talked about this. Bringing Rick Trickett in, what it does for the running game is invaluable. I mean, guys, they got some studs coming in on the line. You add Rick Trickett to the mix, you're gonna have some big holes for this big dude Amari to run through or Cam to run through. But Eric, what are your thoughts on before we close out on these running backs? What's the one guy there that might jump in there if someone gets hurt and make a big splash?
At running back,
Yeah,
they call him Jesus in cleats for a reason. And the
yeah.
reason I mention that, not meaning to be disrespectful whatsoever, but I've heard of two professional athletes being referred to with that
Mm-hmm.
kind of nickname. And I know I'm old school, but one was Michael Jordan, and the other was Larry Bird. And that's because those guys could do things that were impossible. So I look at Sir Paul Cheeks, and I think I'm wondering if he's got some Noel Divine in him.
Yeah, that 5'7", 170. Uh, I agree with the chat and say Boswell is definitely in the mix. Like any of these four guys, I look at film and it's like, okay, it's like it's like these gun guys like this caliber's the best. They all will kill you. All these guys can score touchdowns. What the hell do you go with? Like, oh, this is the best range to kill coyotes. This is the best. They all get it done, buddy. It's all about shot placement. And these guys can definitely put lead downfield by, Boswell has some wheels, Cheeks has some wheels. None of these guys are slow. I mean, for crying out loud. Now, I believe they have two full units for the offensive line short of rotation for each. Yes, Fiona. Fiona, you are such a sweaty football nerd. I love it. You should be doing a show. I swear. Okay, we're going to get down there next. Next, quarterbacks. We're only going to talk about offense tonight. Wyatt Brown, Tyrone Hewley, and we have a couple guys that are missing there. Quarterbacks. What were your thoughts there? What about Scotty Fox? Where do you think he fits in the mix? Do you think it's his job to lose?
Absolutely. Quite honestly, I think he's your most experienced quarterback in the room right now. I think he's a proven quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think they brought in Hawkins to compete, but it's Scotty's job to lose, and I think that message is clear to Scotty. But what are your thoughts, buddy?
I don't know. I like Scotty, and when you brought up the point that he has more starts than Hawkins, more time under center in Big 12 play, I didn't realize that until I looked it up. And I mean, you're spot on. He does. He's grown a lot from the first time we saw him. And he threw those two interceptions, looked like hot garbage. To the last couple games, just think of him in an off season where everything starts going faster and it clicks for him. I think he's really a good athlete. His ball placement is pretty good. Uh, it all depends on what Rich Rod is feeling. But now, Jack Dans, them little high schoolers not ready. Yeah, those young guys. Now, back in the day, they'd sit and
Uh,
wait. They'd sit in queue waiting for their turn. Fernando Mendoza did that. He waited his turn. They develop. They do that. They used to do that in the NFL. Quarterback would wait a year or two and then start be the quarterback in waiting. College, it's just like, hey, what can you do for me right now? Produce, produce, produce. Production versus potential. Now, Texas Tech is still doing the potential thing. They're paying for some young players. They're developing them. They're also paying some older players to come in, but it seems to be a blend. I think Rich Rod's along that line, trying to game plan it like that. Let's have some of these young guys so we can kind of build the culture. Let's get some new bodies in. Hey, if it doesn't work out, it's like taking a date out to a bar in Morgantown. Hey, bars are open till 4 o'clock. If I think you're a shithead by midnight, hey, no loss, right? I'll call you an Uber. But no, that's terrible. So that's
So
the mentality. Like, if you're not going to cut it, we'll show you the door. We don't have to try to fix broken. But
I gotta tell a story real quick because I don't know that I agree with that. Um, you know, the notion that freshmen aren't ready. Yeah, I mean, I agree to an extent because you get to the next level and it's more there. There are more than an order of magnitude of players at the
mm-hmm.
layer below. So the idea that you may have been really special at the layer below, the next layer, no, everybody's fast. I get it. But there are so many freshmen, true freshmen, who have come into our program, played right away, and absolutely killed it. Uh, Steve Slayton, Pat White, um, Tavon Austin, there, Joseph. There's a lot of players who have come in and produced right away. And Rich has made it clear he does not care what year you are. If you can come in and contribute immediately, that's great. That's why we brought you here. Go do it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a kid there's a cornerback at Syracuse. That enrolled in school at like 16 or 17, and he played as a true freshman. And he's a fantastic athlete. An athlete's an athlete. I think it's just a matter. It's not a physical thing. It's more of a mental thing. I'm talking about like mostly quarterback play. Uh, Now some of these other guys, I think they'll come in. There's certain positions like offensive line. Some of these guys have to fill out a little bit, or maybe just work on some speed, maybe technique, because not every program has a guy like Brown whose dad could teach him that technique. You know, that had an NFL caliber, guy, mentoring and coaching him. Now, what's old Sergeant D say here? Come on, there. Different times are different. Freshmen can't come in and start nowadays. I think it's the exceptional athlete can excel, but I think a lot of these young guys go to smaller programs, get playing time, because I think experience is more valued than stars. I just look at Signetti and what he did. I think that's the trend now. That's just an opinion. I mean, we'll see in 3 years if that's true. But I mean, you do have your Alabamas and your Nick Saban for years have been drafted. Hey, look, next guy up. Hey, you're going to play for a year and go to the NFL, or 2 years and go to the NFL. He did it, but he had really good recruiting. Uh, Things are just so different, guys. It's so frustrating. Anyways,
Hey Shane, can I address something here real
shoot,
quick?
shoot.
So real quick, we've been talking an awful lot about Kevin Brown, haven't we?
Yeah,
What year is he?
he's a freshman. He'll start absolutely,
He'll
one hundred
start.
percent. But
So there
yeah,
there are some. Are there many?
no,
No,
no.
no, they're not. You'll be lucky to get two or three, and that would be a great year if you get two or three to actually play, and to have one that would actually be somebody that you can recognize easily on the TV
Mm-hmm.
that they're making an impact. And we had another comment up there that was absolutely 100% correct. You can't enter the transfer portal just any time you want. I mean, the transfer portal is closed. But what we're seeing is that these are rules, and there appears to be tampering going on, and the NCAA is not stepping
No,
in at all. and that's a
No,
problem.
no. And to close out this freshman thing, what I'm getting at is years ago, it was very rare for freshmen to play. For basketball in the 60s and 70s, there was a freshman team that traveled and played, okay, for basketball. So with that, you know, we've kind of went to hey, you're a professional. We expect you to produce. If you don't produce, go somewhere else. And I think it's beneficial for guys to go to that are questionable to go to a smaller program, get film, excel, look at Cam Cook. Now, Tabe Oswell is a freak, and we're going to talk about him in a couple weeks, for certain. But I thought Cam would be the guy because they seem to be talking about him on a lot of podcasts this past week. We kind of, Eric and I, you got your on three that report stuff a week after the fact, and then you have our buddy Mountaineer Paul, who's like, hey man, I got a can alarm in the back there with string and soup cans. If a player walks into the facility, I hear it, and I know like he has his pulse on it. So we're trying to be in the middle. And guys, we literally are digesting a lot of this with you live, and that's what's fun because we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the Mountaineer Nation and the football program. Now, we're going to talk about the basketball program in about 5 or 10 minutes, but, I appreciate y'all coming on. Now, hello, 6 games in the season, Scotty Fox became our starter at quarterback. Yeah, that he's still the starter in my mind. You're bringing in a stud. He's going to push Scotty or he's going to push Scotty aside, but it's a 2-horse race, and right now I think Scotty Fox has it by a nose. I like Scotty Fox. I think they can win with Scotty Fox, especially with the improvement on the line. Eric, any thoughts on Scotty Fox or Hawkins or maybe that kid from California looks like a surfer?
Oh, Brown, yeah,
Yeah.
I love them all. I like honestly this year's room is very solid. I like it better than last year's room even.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Fox, I was man crushing all over that guy from an early time last season, and a lot of it was because in spite of those early interceptions, I thought he made good reads, and he is a good combination of passer and runner. He's more of a passer first than a runner, but I honestly think as the line play improves and he gets more comfortable, I think he's going to use his feet better.
Yeah.
Hawkins, can't say enough good things about the Hawkins brothers, um, but there's a lot of good word there about their discipline and their dedication, and that's just going to make their play that much better. To watch tape on Wyatt Brown,
Mm-hmm.
oh my Lord. I know it's high school, but that kid is so fast, at times the cameraman couldn't find him.
Right.
Max Brown, I think Max Brown, I don't think we have seen anywhere near his best yet. And I loved something he did. It's a shame he got hurt, but he got in a game, and the way he got hurt is he tried to hurdle a defender.
Yeah. He went
That's heart.
went around the left and hurdled the guy, and then the helmet hit him right in the leg, and boy, that was
Yeah.
rough. Now talk about rough. Arizona. But
Hmm.
before we talk about Arizona and West Virginia, this is the West Virginia Live channel. It's presented by FanDuel. Now, FanDuel is a fantastic app you can use. You can do a pick 'em, you can do a parlay. There's even slots on there. It's a lot of fun to play, guys. Check it out, FanDuel, and this show, West Virginia Live with the Voice of College Football, is brought to you by FanDuel. So, with that being said, Eric, I thought Arizona was maybe going to be not quite as good as Houston. I think I was wrong. I think they're both pretty damn good. That's going to be a battle. West Virginia is not even sniffing in that top tier league. of the Big 12. They're probably in the middle of the pack. They're respectable. I looked at the rankings right now. Joe Lunardi has them like at 70 spot, like just on the outside looking in. Eric, what are your thoughts? Did you watch that game?
I did not watch the whole game.
Yeah, didn't miss
I've
much.
been told it's just not good for my well-being.
No.
But I agree with you, buddy. And from what I heard on another podcast, their two lines, their two rotations, they're filled with four-star, five-star professional players.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's
They're bad
absurd.
dudes. All of them bad dudes. It's just like it's like that movie The Expendables where you're like, it's Bruce Willis. It's Dolph Lundgren. It's like, Jason Statham. Like every action hero is in that movie. That's what I felt when I watched Houston and Arizona play against the Mountaineers. Like, here, this guy here was a McDonald's All American. He's not even starting. I mean, Arizona is so loaded. Uh, Man, Big 12 is the best basketball conference, hands down. I think they're going to put
Yep.
a lot of teams into the tournament.
Hey, I
They
got to
play
credit
tomorrow.
Ear Sports with that too, by the way.
Yeah,
Make sure I give credit where it's due.
yeah. Give it Ear Sports. It's a good show. I like it. Uh, but what's Sergeant D saying? Joseph Ali is bringing a pipeline to Bella Vista Prep. I hope so. They have some ballers there. Next year is Ross Hodge's year. Yeah, you jump into a program your first year, it's hard to make waves. I mean, uh, we talked briefly, me and you, about Mountaineer Paul talking about donors and how donors sometimes will get a little bit. They get some fatigue, or on the back end, you could literally depend on one donor too much. But hopefully, the donors don't lose interest in this basketball program if they don't make the tournament. I'm still hopeful that they could be a bubble team, just kind of sneak in there. Uh, Stranger things have happened, though, Eric.
I agree. I think we are probably right now a bubble team.
Yeah,
But I think because quite honestly, like our win against Kansas, I think that's one of the best upsets in the Big 12 this year. I think
absolutely.
if I think if we can get if we can get 500, make it to 500 in the Big 12, and maybe we can sneak out an upset, we are in.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to write down a time here. So, Eric, I'll have to tell you, I can't believe we're almost into February, and we're gonna have a special Groundhog's Day show. I think one of our shows falls on Groundhog's Day, or maybe it
Yes,
feels
it
like
does.
Groundhog's Day. But you know, once again, I want to thank everybody for popping in and watching us. Fiona, the best Final Four in history would be four Big 12 teams. Yes, that would be stellar, and West Virginia maybe being one of them. We could always pray, but Indiana a year ago thought, well, that's a very lofty dream to have. It's like penthouse dreams, outhouse budget. Well, baby, they were in the penthouse. That's in football. I think in basketball or football, West Virginia still needs to dream big because I think it's a possibility. I think in our lifetime, we're going to see West Virginia play in a national championship. I sure hope so. Eric, what are your expectations for this basketball season before we close the show?
Uh, I hate putting expectations on a first year, but and quite honestly, if someone would tell you, "Hey, you're going to go 500 in the Big 12 first year," I would say, "I don't know about that," but I really do think we have a legit shot at
Mhm.
that. And so I think if we can go 500 or close to in the Big 12, we can show progression along the way and have even a few flashes
Mm.
where, Ross's magic, you can see it starting to take shape. If those things happen, I will look at the season as a big success.
Yeah, I think the Kansas just gave me that spark. Like, okay, they can be good. Against Ohio State, 75% of the game they were dominant. Dominant. Same with Clemson. It's just there's that little they just sputtered. Just it's like it's like a race car that runs out of gas on the last damn lap, and that's what it felt like. So, Eric, thanks for popping in here and being with us. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back on Thursday at 8 o'clock at the Voice of College Football West Virginia Live. That is the call-in show. So if you have any questions, I answer your questions on every show, so it doesn't matter. But if you have any questions, please feel free. And if you want to pop on, we'll pop in for 2 minutes, and you can actually ask them in person. But, Eric, thanks for hanging with us. Chat, thanks for hanging with us. Hey, we're going to let you go with the state of West Virginia's flag. And, hey, have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Kansas State plays West Virginia in basketball. I think it's 8:30 on FS1. But West Virginia Live brought to you by FanDuel, Voice College Football. Good night.